Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and today I'm doing a reading book tag. It's been a long time since I've done a book tag, and I just really was in the mood to do one. And I was actually tagged by Ashley. I will link her channel down below. But she tagged me in the Am I In or Out book opinions tag, and I just thought it was so much fun. So this was originally uh, it was seen on Miss Reads a Lot channel, and I will link her channel down below as well. But I just thought this was so much fun. So we are going to, I guess, agree or disagree on some of these opinions, bookish opinions. So I'm really excited about this one. So the first one is reading the last page first. I'm out. I am out. I don't honestly know how people do that. Now, I can 10% understand, because I think somebody mentioned where, like, if they wanted to buy a book at the bookstore, full price or whatever, they want to know if they like the ending or not. I can I'm trying to understand. I can kind of understand that aspect of you want to have a good ending, but I don't want to be spoiled for my endings, okay? Like I think I did it once by accident, where, like, I was trying to find out how many pages were in a book and I got spoiled. I don't like to do that, I'm very good now at actually, like, finding out the end page number without actually reading it or skimming it. But I'm out. I am totally out for that, because I don't know how people do it. I really don't. Now I do either get most of my books very, very cheap now or free, and I'm like, I just don't I wouldn't even do that with a full price book. Now, I have bought in full price books where I have not kept them because I didn't enjoy them, but not necessarily from the last page. All right, next one is enemies to lovers. I'm in. I love a good enemies to lovers. I'm actually planning on writing an enemies to lovers. I'm actually going to start very, very soon on that book, probably like the middle of September-ish. But I love enemies to lovers. I think it's so much fun. So I am so in for enemies to lovers, as long as it's done well. I feel like, if there's a conflict that happened, like, in their past or something that kind of, like, is connected to that, or like they're newly, they're new acquaintances that are, like, kind of like enemies in the office workspace, whatever, like they're vying for the same position or whatever, stuff like that I enjoy. If it's miscommunication enemies to more, I'm like, then I'm out. But most of the time I'm in. Dream sequences. I I haven't honestly read a lot of books with dream sequences in them. So I honestly don't have an opinion either way with that one. That's probably the only one I don't really have an opinion on, only because, as I said, I haven't really read any books with dream sequences. Not that I can remember. Love triangles. If it's Archie comic books, I'm in, but most of the time I would probably say I'm out, only because most of the time it's so easy to pick out who ends up with who. Like 99% of the time, it's so easy to pick it out. And so I'm not really a huge fan of that. But if an author does it really well, to where I'm guessing, like, all the time, like, this guy's really great, oh, but this guy's also, like, really fantastic, then you got me hooked and I'm all in. Cracked spines, out. But I will say, when I was younger, I was a cracked spine girl. I would literally fold the book entirely in half and, like, hold, like, the one page. Thankfully, being a Kindle reader, you can just, fold your cover back. But I was a spine cracker in my day. Not anymore. So don't leave. I'm not anymore. But yes, I used to be, for sure. But they also make books, I feel like, a lot easier to read. Most of the books, especially the books I get from, like, Baker Publishing, they're fantastic. They open up, they stay open. I don't have to crack a spine or nothing. So I love them. Back to my small town. Back to my small town. Uh, I would say most of the time I'm out, because most of the time those are second chance romances. I like a second chance romance, but I'm very much an adventurer at heart, and I love going back to, like, my hometown, but, like, most of my things, I'm like, I just want to experience something new. So I think I'm out for small towns unless it's done well. I think that goes for everything, honestly. As long as it's done well, I'll read it. Monsters are real people. Monsters are real people. Monsters are real people. Like, are we talking like Beauty and the Beast, or like their personalities are monster? Monsters are real people. I mean, technically, they're not people, unless you're talking like beauty, like the Beauty and the Beast curse. I guess I would say I was out. I don't honestly know what that even means. No paragraph breaks. Ooh, I'm out. I am so out. I think I read one fairly recently, and I was like, where are the paragraph breaks? I'm like, number one, isn't that a rule when you're writing anything that you need paragraph breaks? That's like the mandatory thing to do. Like, no, no, I am totally out. Like, no paragraph breaks. You have lost me. Multi-generational sagas. Again, if it's done well, I'm in. But I think most of the time I'm out with multi-generational storylines, only because I feel like a lot of the times they're too long. Because if they try to do like multi-generations in one book, I feel like it can be too long or too drawn out sometimes. So I think I'm mostly out. Rereading. I'm out for the most part. I have been rereading a few books here and there, but 99% of myself, I am not a rereader. I might be at some point in my life, because, I'm rereading my own book as I'm editing. So kind of getting into that practice, I might end up being a rereader. But there's so many fantastic books out there that I haven't read yet that I don't, unless I'm, not feeling well or I'm kind of down and out, I might pick up something that I know that I've loved in the past. But most of the time, I'm out for rereading. Artificial intelligence. Okay. There's two aspects of this. Now, if we're talking about like a mystery, a sci-fi that involves AI in the storyline, I'm totally in. I love a good artificial intelligence storyline that has to do with a mystery or a thriller. I love those. I eat those up every single day. Now, if we're talking about artificial intelligence narrators helping you write a book or writing the entire book, then I am 1,000,000,000,000,000,000% out. I don't want it. I think I listened to one audiobook that was artificial intelligence, and I hated it. The storyline wasn't bad, but you can tell. You can just tell. And I was like, no, this is not a real narrator, and I don't support auto narrators. I don't support auto created books and stuff like that. I want my books created by my author friends. Drop caps. I have no idea what that is. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up because I have no idea what that is. Oh, okay. So it says drop cap is a large capital letter at the beginning of a paragraph. Oh, yes. Oh, I know what these are. I never really pay attention, but it makes sense. Let me show you. So when they put like that giant letter in front of a paragraph, I would say I'm honestly out. It doesn't bother me. Like, I'll read a book, it doesn't matter. But sometimes it's just hard when that big letter's there, because sometimes like my focal point will like drop to the bottom of the letter. So like it's like 4 lines down. I'm like, wait, no, I actually have to start at the top line. So that kind of draws my focal point of reading down to like the 4th line sometimes. So I think I'm out for those, even though I probably have read a good amount of them. I just don't enjoy them that much. Not that I pay attention all that much to them. Next is happy endings. Obviously, I'm all the way in. I mean, I do love a good emotional ending, but I'm all in. If you can give me an emotional ending plus a happy ending, you have hooked me for life. But yes, I'm totally in for happy endings. If you're not in for happy endings, I hope you are. Next one is plot points that only converge at the end. Well, I've read a good amount of plot points that only converge at the end. If the author does well where like you can see kind of how the story is weaving, and yes, it only connects at the end, I'm totally in for that, because sometimes it could be a surprise ending that you didn't see coming, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. as long as I said, if it's done well. So I would say I would be in for storylines that only connect at the end. Detailed magic system. How detailed we talking? If we're talking like Brandon Sanderson, which I've only read his YA sci-fi series, I probably would be out for like his giant books. Only because like I'm definitely more of a plot geared person when it comes to fantasy and sci-fi. I want a plot. I'm more attached to the plot versus like an extreme magic system. I love magic systems. I think they're pretty cool, but as I said, all depends on how the author does it. So I would say I'm out if it's too detailed. Classic fantasy races. Okay, I think they are, I guess, talking about like classic fantasy races. So like elves, orcs, dwarves, gnomes, goblins, humans, centaurs, dragons, giants, whatever. I'm all in. I love classic fantasy races. I think they're so much fun. If authors create like new races, I think it's pretty cool that they can create something unique and different and can like put that picture in your head just based off the description and the actions and stuff. But I'm totally down because I love, pretty much all those things. I love elves, dwarves, goblins, centaurs, dragons, giants. Like all those things are fun to read about and enjoy. Will I ever write one? I don't know. But you never know. Unreliable narrators. I would say I'm out for unreliable narrators. Just because the ones that I've read, especially if it's like mainstream fiction, I feel like they're either not done well or like a lot of the times I guess what happens. And unreliable narrators, again, if it's done well, but most of the time I'm out for unreliable narrators. Evil protagonists. How can you be an evil protagonist? Like, I think another word for that would probably be like morally gray, but like, I'm totally out. Like, an evil protagonist? Like, yeah, I'm totally out. Like, my evil needs to be in the antagonists all the way. The Chosen One. I think it's overdone, The Chosen One. I feel like almost like every single fantasy book out there is The Chosen One in some way, shape, or form. Um, I feel like it's overdone. I would say I'm probably out because I just want something new and different. I would say I'm out for that. When the protagonist dies. I mean, if you're going to kill off the main character, then you don't have a book anymore. So I'm out. I'm out. Especially if it's like a character that I absolutely love. I'm totally out for that. No. Really long chapters. Also out. Especially like, I don't mind audiobook long chapters because those go pretty quickly for me. But if I'm physically reading or an ebook, I'm the type of person where I try to finish a chapter before I go to bed. So if a chapter is 50 pages long and I'm only on like page 3 of that chapter or like 10, I'm like, most of the time I'm like, I don't want to stay up that long. So shorter the better. So I say I'm out for longer chapters. I don't mind them, but French flaps. Now, I don't think I own any French flaps to show you what they mean by French flaps. I'm like looking at all my books and stuff. I really don't think I own a French flap. I know none of the books behind me are French flap, not that I know of. Because most of my signed books are not French flap. So I don't think I own any, but French flap just means like it kind of like you open it up and it has like that extra page that folds out with like the description and stuff. I'm not bothered by it, but apparently I don't own any. So I guess I would say I'm in because it never bothers me. I don't really care if it has a French flap to it. So I guess I'd be in with that. Deckled edges. I know most people are out for deckled edges. Again, for me, I don't really care either way if it has deckled edges. I used to honestly think they were pretty cool. I thought they looked kind of, fancy, a little bit vintage looking. So I guess I would say I'd be in for deckled edges. I never really had a problem flipping pages. I know a lot of people do. I think it's because most people, they tend to flip like this versus like page by page, which I think I do page by page, so it doesn't really bother me. So I'd say, I guess, in for deckled edges. Signed copies by the authors. If you are new to this channel, you might not know that probably 60% of my books are either signed or have book plates in them. So I would say I'm in I would say I am. I'm in. This entire bookshelf, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're double stacked behind each other. Those are all signed. Most of these 2 rows are signed. No, J.R. Tolkien's not, although I wish it was. But most of my top 2 shelves are signed. I have a bookcase next to me over here that are unread signed books. So yes, I can say I'm a fan of signed books, if you couldn't tell. And I'm very blessed to just have an extroverted brain. That's another part of me that's extroverted, is I don't mind emailing an author and asking if they were so kind, if they would be able to send me a book plate to put in my book. Like, there's no harm in asking. And most of the time they're incredibly nice. I don't think I've come across anybody who's been mean. Let's see. And then dog earing pages. Oh, I'm so out. Although, again, same thing as cracking a spine. Yes, I used to dog ear pages, but that stopped probably around the time I was in high school. So it's been 15 plus years since I've dog eared a book. So you will be happy to know that I have not dog eared a book in a very long time, and I don't do it anymore. And then the last one is chapter titles instead of numbers. I don't care either way. I don't normally pay attention too much to chapter headings all that much. So again, I can be in or out with that one. Most of the books I read probably have numbers if I pick a random book. Yeah, chapter 7. So I don't know. It just depends on the storyline. If it's necessary to the storyline, then I'll happily read the chapter titles. But I don't care either way. I'm in and I'm out. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this book tag. I thought it was lots of fun, kind of interesting in or out questions. Maybe I should do another in or out book tag, but I'll create my own questions next time. I think that would be fun. All right, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next video.